Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. It is that time of year when spring cleaning is upon us. So today we're going to be sharing our top spring cleaning tips and tricks and giving away some amazing prizes. So my name is Chrissy. I'm one of the project managers, and I am joined by Lindsay, and we're excited to talk about KH7 today.
Yeah, hi everyone. So excited to share some spring cleaning tips with everyone today.
Yeah, and thank you again for joining us. Before we jump in, just wanted to share a little bit more about Mom's Meet. Mom's Meet is an online community of caregivers, so mothers, fathers, grandparents, really anybody looking to raise their families in a healthy way. It's free to join, so you can go to momsmeet.com to become a mom ambassador, and you can sample free products.
Yeah, and this event is brought to you by KH7, a leading cleaning brand in Spain that is revolutionizing the cleaning market. And it has a new category of super degreasers.
Yeah, and today KH7 is giving away some amazing prizes. So we're going to have 5 lucky winners who are, to be set up for spring cleaning with a 6-pack of KH7 Super Degreaser. We'll be sharing more about why this is such an awesome prize in just a bit. But let us know in the comments. We want to hear from all of you. What is your top spring cleaning tip? Please share them with me because I need some in my life. We might share some of your comments later on screen, so definitely let us know.
Yeah, and as always, make sure to comment on and share this video for your chance to win, and we'll announce the winners on Monday.
Yeah, great. Well, let's just jump right into the conversation. So I know, spring is here. Spring cleaning is on a lot of our minds, especially as the weather warms up. I always feel that way. As soon as it's nice out, I'm always like, oh my gosh, I need to clean. I need to reorganize everything. But it can be such a huge undertaking, especially with lots of littles running around the house. They're always tracking in dirt. I feel like as soon as I clean something up, it's just dirty a second later, and all sorts of other things. So it seems like every weekend, my husband and I are doing one big project after another. Either it's yard cleanup or organizing the garage or other home improvement projects, and it's just so exhausting.
Yeah, it can really be a lot to manage, but it's also refreshing and rewarding when your house kind of gets back in order after being inside all winter. Plus, getting everything ready to be outside in the summer, it's such a great relief to go outside again and enjoy the sunshine and fresh air.
Yes, and we have a special person joining
us.
Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties. Happy to be back to talk about spring cleaning. Oh my gosh. All right. So sorry.
No, it's all good. Well, we were just talking about, getting into the spring cleaning mode and all of the things with that. So I was just about to talk about how at my house, we're in the process of remodeling our kitchen. So it's so important for us to stay on top of all the dust. It always manages to get all over the house. And spring cleaning is the opportunity to open up the windows and clear out some of that dust that's accumulated. I feel like as soon as I start cleaning, I find more things that need to get cleaned. It's like the never ending cycle. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is the truth. Once I start, then I'm like, how did I not notice how dirty everything is? So at my house, and I'm sure you guys can relate, the toys just are overflowing. I tried to keep them in, just the playroom, and then they just flow into every single room in the house. So I really like to use this time of year to declutter in that way. Whatever my kids are not playing with, whether or not maybe they'll play with them again, they're just getting tired of it, or it's too young for them. I move them out of the rotation. I have 2, so I'm not getting rid of any toys yet, just putting them up in the attic until it's time to bring them back down or eventually donate them. I do a whole sweep of my playroom. Those puzzle pieces are always all over the place. And so organizing, and even the food for the for the play kitchen is all over the place and things like that. So you don't realize how disorganized your toys can get. So that's like the biggest thing at my house right now that like I'm trying to do. And then I move into the more, you know, like the closets, the windowsills, and all of those things, and try to create like a donation pile this time of year. So there's a lot to do, though. There's a lot to do. And then once you start doing it, you realize how much there actually is to do.
Yeah. And isn't it funny how like anytime you're like going through their toys they haven't played with in like years, and you pull it out to donate it, and they're like, I love that toy. Yes. Don't get rid of it.
I know. I've made that mistake, and now you do it at nap time or at bedtime, or else it's like, no, I need that. It's like, no, you don't. That's for a 6-month-old. So
I definitely see that with my girls too. I feel like it's just a constant mess. So as you guys know, my oldest is 5, and it's like just a constant whirlwind of chaos wherever she goes. I feel like as soon as I pick everything up and kind of neatly organize it back in the cubby, I turn around, it's all magically pulled out again and on the floor like an hour later. So but when it comes to like a more like deep cleaning that you do during spring cleaning, I definitely, you know, kind of, Maureen, as you were saying, kind of like go room by room and like to kind of like do more of a breakdown of it with organizing and then doing the deep cleaning after that. That kind of helps me stay focused and really get into kind of the smaller spaces and nooks and crannies where I know I need to clean.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like it can just, if you go into it like, I have to clean my whole house today, it can be so overwhelming.
Yeah. You need chunks. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think I do like a combination of both of those. I'm a list person for sure. So I love making a list for each space in my house that has to be cleaned. And then what I do is I kind of go through, you know, I go through them, and then when I have the right stuff out, I'll do that. So for example, if I'm wiping down the dinner table, and I have like an extra sanitizing wipe, I'll also wipe down the tables in the living room so that I'm like using it. If I have that thing out, I can just use it all at once. But I do, as hard as it is, I try to stay focused on one task at a time. But I, you know, like I'm also, when I was on maternity leave, I was so into like, I mean, you like surf the internet. I just said surf the internet, by the way, but you just like look at I'm like on Pinterest at like 2 a.m, and I was obsessed with like finding cleaning tips because why not, right? I'm up like nursing my baby. But one of the things that they suggested, which I now do, is like multitasking, especially in the bathroom. Like if you're giving your kids a bath or if they're showering or whatever, I'll like wipe down their sinks and their toilets while they're in there so that I can like cross that off my list. I'm cleaning while they're being showered or whatever the case may be. But I think you have to multitask because otherwise it just never gets done.
Yeah, no, that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
I do it a little bit. Like if my kids are in the bath, then I have clothes that I need to like soak in the sink that have like food all over them. I have done that. So, but that I like that. That's a really nice little hack right there.
Yeah.
So basically, like, you know, we all are doing this differently, but you make a plan and you stick to it and you do what's right for you, and don't look at the overwhelming big picture. Go project by project.
Yeah.
You know, I try to tackle.
Oh, I think we lost her again.
Oh no, some technical difficulties there, but yeah, as Maureen was saying, just kind of like break it down, go task by task. I definitely like to start with the most difficult room first, which I find to be the bathroom. I don't know if you agree with that, Christy, but I feel like I spend more time cleaning the bathrooms than any other room in my house, unfortunately. And there's just so many spots there to clean, like the tub, the sink, the toilet. It gets overwhelming. But then I'll move on to the bedrooms after that. And then the living area, and then finally the kitchen, kind of, and so on. But one tip that I have is I'll wash the curtains from each room first, like take those down, because then it won't accumulate dust and like that you're kind of like, you know, as you're going through. So I kind of like throw those in the washer, get them out of the way, get that going, and then clean the rest of the room. So.
Oh, that's smart, because then they can be in the washer while you're like cleaning the room. Yeah, that's really smart. Sadly, I don't wash my curtains as much as I should, but
I don't think anybody does.
I'm
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
that's
time like now.
you might do it a little bit more then, if you know they're just kind of like taken care of, do it first and then
Yeah.
it's out of the way.
Yeah. I feel like I always get caught up on like the smaller things, like light switches and like the banisters in my house. Like I feel like all my little kid hands just like leave some grime and dirt all over them, and half the time
little
like
fingerprints everywhere.
yes, yeah, and you don't even realize it. But it's so crazy, and it's also like kind of gross because when I do clean them, I realize how dirty they were because they look like brand new, like light switches, and it's pretty bad. So, but I totally agree with like the top down method, like starting at the top of the house and then, going, or even just like doing things that's going to take longer, like you said, with the curtains and things like that. But it does make everything so much easier to clean instead of having to like re-clean things over and over again because you went out of order or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So now I kind of want to get into the topic of all of the different things that we use to clean our home, because I feel like I just have an endless amount, like 25 different cleaners, and I use them for so many different things. But in reality, you only need a few, and then, a towel, a sponge, and things like that. So it is, it would be a good idea to pare everything down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I probably have about 10 different bottles under my sink of different things. So who knows how long it's been at this point. But, things that I use all the time around the house. But my top cleaners too are the ones that are like the all-purpose cleaner and the ones that disinfect, and a degreaser too that can cut through some of that grease and grime that definitely builds up.
Yeah. I always find that like is the worst in the kitchen. I have 3 kids now, so we're constantly in the kitchen cooking. And it gets so messy, like, especially in the winter, if I am feeling like, burgers, I'll cook them on the stove and grease just gets everywhere. There's so much splatter. So having a degreaser is a must. It helps us wipe down the stove. You can do the cabinets and the counters. You don't realize how much splatter there is and how much cleanup. And since I have an infant at home, it's so important to me to find cleaners that aren't scented or any that use artificial fragrances.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so important to find non-toxic cleaners when you have kids. And I always try to buy cleaners that are free from phosphates, dyes, fragrances, and caustic chemicals. So it's really important for your food surfaces too, and anything that your kids are going to be touching, like their toys. Because yes, we should be spring cleaning our kids' toys too, surprise. I usually try to throw any of the stuffed animals in the wash, and I wipe down all of the other hard toys with a disinfectant. And it really is amazing and kind of gross how much stuff builds up on their toys throughout the year.
I know. You don't think about it.
Yeah, for sure. It really does. And in the summer too, I feel like I want to get my kids outside and have barbecues and not be, just get out in the fresh air. But the grill, I always find that is, just cleaning that is such a chore and one of the worst parts of spring cleaning.
Yeah.
So we really need a high quality degreaser for that, because it just gets all that gunk. And you were talking about burgers, Chrissy, and we definitely try to keep up with that and clean it during the summer. But with the kids being home, it's not really top of mind. So we try to get out and get it ready in the spring. That way we can enjoy it in the summer.
Yeah, that's really smart. I always wait until the last minute, and then I'm like, I don't feel like having to clean that because it's probably the worst things to clean.
It's so tough to clean,
especially because it sits there like all winter, right? I mean, maybe you're better than I am and probably clean it like at the end of the season, but so you don't have to deal with it.
No, my husband just cleaned ours. Actually, it was a really cute scene in our yard. My husband was cleaning ours, and my son had his kitty grill out right next to him, and he had his little, fake wipes, and he was wiping down his at the same time.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Yeah, it takes a long time. It's a big project. Definitely.
Yeah, it is. Well, and that's why I think like having a really good degreaser would be great, especially for the grill.
Yeah, definitely. We just tried the KH7 Super Degreaser on it, and it actually worked like a charm. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Well, let's just kind of jump in and talk more about the KH7 degreaser and why it is such a great option.
Yeah, so we had the opportunity to try the KH7 Super Degreaser to help us with our spring cleaning needs, and just a little bit more about the product. Their formula, it provides maximum effectiveness against grease and dirt, while respecting the surfaces and materials, which is so important.
Yeah, so I have the bottle here. Just want to show everyone. It's very pretty colors. It's a really big bottle. It's a great size. It's formulated to high standards. Its KH7 concentrated degreaser is free from phosphates, perfume, caustic soda, caustic potash, and dye. It does not contain microplastics, which is great, and it's also not tested on animals.
That's huge. That's so great. And like we were saying before, it's also important that our cleaners are multi-purpose. So having 25 bottles under your sink can be such a pain to kind of work through as you're trying to clean your house. So the KH7 degreaser is versatile, and it can be used on barbecues, shoes, bicycles, ovens, tire rims if you're cleaning your car, clothing, pots and pans, and so much more.
Yeah, that really is a very inclusive list. So with this, that's awesome. With this multi-use degreaser, definitely a little bit goes a long way. So one bottle should really last you for a long time compared to other brands. It also has a really great ergonomic spray that makes it easy to use, so you don't have to wrestle with it, with the handle while you're using it, which can sometimes get very frustrating when you're trying to clean. And you can also use it. This is really cool that I think I need right now. You can also use it in your dishwasher before you run it, because so much, dirt and grime builds up in there. And this is a great way to give it extra cleaning boost and cut through the grease on any of the dishes that you have.
Yeah, I would never think that I'd be able to use it in the dishwasher. That is so great. My dishwasher needs a clean right now. So I'm probably going to take this bottle after we're done and use it. One of the other things I didn't know is that it's also stain remover on clothing. So I don't know about you, but it is like my biggest pet peeve if I'm eating a salad and I'm like mixing up my salad and oil gets on my shirt, and I feel like it's like, all right, well, it's done, right? Like it's so hard to get that out. Yeah, but you can use KH7 to get them out. So you simply just spray it in the affected area, you scrub it in, and then you can throw the shirts or, pants in the wash. It can take all sorts of stains out, especially with kids' clothing. We all know how crazy that can get. KH7 works like a charm to remove these spots, just like any stain remover. So it's just another way to cut back on how many bottles of things that we have in our house.
Yeah. And then this is something that was kind of newer to me too, but if you or your partner are fixing up cars and bikes, any other like outdoor sports items or everything, anything this summer coming up, KH7 is actually great to have on hand to wipe up, that kind of like oil and grime and stuff that gets on your tools and stuff too. So my husband really liked that.
Yeah, that's great. So when you're using KH7, make sure that you're following the package guideline for use and storage of the product, as well as the safety guidelines. So it is not necessary to wear gloves when using the product, but make sure you wash your hands after use, avoid contact with your eyes, rinse food surfaces after product use, and use sufficient ventilation when using the product.
Yeah, and to use KH7, so you simply apply the super degreaser directly over the surface that you want to clean. Just let it sit for a few minutes while it does its job, and then you wipe it with a damp cloth. I usually use like a microfiber cloth, or you can use a paper towel, whatever. Just note, don't use it on enameled or varnished surfaces, or to wool, leather, or dyed fabrics.
And if you're interested in trying KH7, you can find a store near you on their website. Plus, you can learn more about how to use KH7 and why it's such a powerful cleaner and more. Yeah.
Okay, great. And it seems like some of our moms that were following along with us had some really great tips for us on what they do with their spring cleaning. Okay, so we've got a great one. Top tip is using a microfiber towel over the broom for hardwood floors. I love that.
That's smart. I love that. Ooh,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, okay, Christina Benson said, I keep cute bins around because my children are always leaving their clothes around. That's so smart. That was another hack I actually found at 2 a.m. when I was on Pinterest. It's saying like, have a cute basket in each room. So at the end of the night, you could just like pick up all the toys and just throw them in there and worry about it tomorrow.
My son brings like piles of toys to our bedroom every night so he can play with them in the morning. And so I just have toys everywhere. So I have a big bin that I throw it all in, and scoot it back to the playroom.
Yeah.
I'm using that. That's a great idea. Yeah. I'm going to do that.
All right, what's the next one? All right, we've got Judy says, my top tip for wooden blinds is to put an old sock on my hand and put the cleaner on it. Super easy, super thorough, and reusable, and a purpose for single socks. That's so smart. How many of you have single socks sitting in your laundry basket that don't have a home?
Mm-hmm.
That's so smart. I admittedly never clean my blinds. So, that's a really good tip.
So now you know how to do it easily. So that's great. Okay, we've got one more.
Yeah, Lindsay, you want to read Ashley's comment?
Yeah, so Ashley does decluttering when I assume she's saying her children are asleep, so they don't try to take the toys out of the donation box. So that's a good tip. Yeah, it has to be a little bit in secret because
something I've learned through failure. So.
Right, they realize it's their favorite toy that they didn't know they had.
Yeah. Also, make sure you don't bring your kids to the donation center because I did that recently.
Yeah.
And it was a fail.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone for sharing your tips with us. It was amazing. Thank you both for sharing yours. Now I feel motivated. I need to go clean my house.
I know.
Thank you all for joining us today. And thank you KH7 for helping to make spring cleaning a breeze this year. And you can learn more about their super degreaser at kh7.us.
Yeah, and remember everyone, keep liking, sharing, commenting for your chance to win. We will be announcing the winner on Monday. So have a great week, everybody, and good luck with spring cleaning.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thanks everyone.